Amelia Taylor was 34, and she made a living checking what held and what didn't. She trusted facts more than people. At her younger sister Lois Taylor's wedding, everything looked perfect, until it wasn't. Just before the vows, the groom's mother stood up. "She is not good enough for this family," Margaret Bullitt said, pointing at Lois. Gasps filled the room. Then she threw papers at Lois. "Sign this prenup now, or this wedding is over." Amelia Taylor looked at her parents. They said nothing, so she stood. "No," she said calmly. She walked forward, picked up the papers, tore them in half, and took Lois's hand. "We're leaving." And together, they walked out. 3 weeks later, Amelia Taylor placed a folder on a marble table. Across from her sat Victor Bullitt and Margaret Bullitt. "What is this?" Margaret asked. "Read it," Amelia replied. Victor opened it, then froze. "This is private," he said. "No," Amelia said quietly. "It's public." Margaret leaned forward. "You don't understand what you're doing." Amelia didn't react. "I understand enough," she said. "I read everything before I act." Victor closed the file fast. His calm was gone. That was when Amelia knew she was right. This wasn't just about a wedding anymore. Something bigger was hiding behind their perfect image. Welcome back to Abbywell Folktales. Stay with me until the end. Drop a comment, let me know where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe. Amelia Taylor had always been careful. After their mother died, she became everything for Lois Taylor. "Did you read it?" she would ask about anything. "It's fine," Lois would say. "Nothing is fine until it's checked," Amelia would reply. She worked hard, built her career, and kept life stable. Lois was different. She was kind, open, and trusting. "You worry too much," Lois often said. "And you trust too easily," Amelia answered. They balanced each other. But when Lois met Victor Bullitt, something changed. Amelia didn't know what yet, but she could feel it. "I think I love him," Lois Taylor told Amelia Taylor one evening. She looked happy, but something felt off. "Tell me about him," Amelia said. "He's perfect," Lois replied. "Kind, smart, everything." Amelia nodded slowly. "Perfect is dangerous," she said. Lois laughed. "You always say that." "Because it's true," Amelia replied. She watched her sister closely. Lois smiled, but it felt delayed, like she was thinking before reacting. Amelia noticed everything. And what she saw didn't match the story Lois was telling. The first time Amelia Taylor visited the Bullitt home, she felt it immediately. The house was beautiful, but cold. "It's amazing," Lois Taylor said. "It's too perfect," Amelia replied. At dinner, Margaret Bullitt watched them closely. "So, Amelia, you work with structures?" she asked. "Yes," Amelia said calmly. Margaret smiled slightly. "Practical work." Then she turned to Lois. "And you make pottery?" "Yes," Lois said softly. "How charming," Margaret replied. The word didn't sound kind. Amelia saw it clearly. This wasn't a welcome. This was judgment. And Lois was already being measured. That night, driving home, Amelia Taylor kept her eyes on the road while Lois Taylor stared out the window. "You don't like them," Lois said quietly. "I don't trust what I don't understand," Amelia replied. Lois sighed. "They're just different." Amelia glanced at her. "Different isn't the problem. Control is." Lois turned sharply. "You're overthinking." Amelia didn't argue. She had learned that pushing Lois only made her defend harder. But something was wrong. She could feel it in the silence, in the pauses, in the way Lois kept choosing her words carefully now. And that was new. Lois had never been careful before. Over the next weeks, Amelia Taylor noticed more changes. Lois Taylor checked her phone often but never openly. Once, while talking, Lois paused mid-sentence and glanced at Victor Bullitt before finishing. Amelia caught it immediately. Later, she pulled Lois aside. "Are you okay?" she asked. Lois smiled quickly. "I'm happy." "That's not what I asked," Amelia said. Lois hesitated, then nodded. "I'm fine." But Amelia knew the difference between fine and safe. And Lois didn't look safe. She looked managed. At the engagement dinner, everything became clearer. Margaret Bullitt controlled the room with quiet authority. "Family legacy matters," she said, looking directly at Lois Taylor. "We protect what belongs to us." Amelia leaned back slightly. "Protection shouldn't feel like pressure," she said calmly. Margaret smiled, but her eyes stayed cold. "Only to those who don't understand it," she replied. The table went quiet. Victor Bullitt said nothing, and that silence told Amelia more than any words could. Days later, Amelia Taylor received a call from Megan Woods. Her voice was low and uncertain. "I shouldn't be calling," Megan said. "Then why are you?" Amelia asked. Megan hesitated. "Just tell Lois to be careful." Amelia's tone sharpened. "Careful of what?" A long pause followed. "There were stories about Victor Bullitt," Megan said quietly. "What kind of stories?" Amelia pressed. But Megan pulled back. "I shouldn't have said anything," she whispered, then hung up. Amelia stared at her phone. That wasn't gossip. That was fear. That same night, Amelia Taylor started digging. She searched everything about Victor Bullitt. Records, articles, anything public. But what she found made her uneasy. There was nothing. No mistakes. No past issues. Not even small ones. "Nobody is this clean," she said quietly. A perfect record wasn't normal. It meant something had been removed. Amelia leaned back, thinking. "So what are you hiding?" she murmured. Because now she was sure. This wasn't just a bad feeling anymore. This was something real. And she wasn't going to ignore it. The next morning, Amelia Taylor went deeper. She sat in a quiet courthouse office, scanning public records. Names, dates, filings, most of it useless. But she kept going. "Come on," she muttered. She searched Victor Bullitt again and again. Still nothing. That wasn't normal. "People don't just have no history," she said under her breath. Either he was extremely lucky, or someone had worked very hard to clean his past. Amelia closed her laptop slowly. Now she wasn't just curious. She was certain. Something was being hidden. When Amelia Taylor tried to talk again, Lois Taylor shut her down fast. "You're overthinking everything," Lois said. "Am I?" Amelia asked calmly. "Yes," Lois snapped. "Victor Bullitt is not who you think he is." Amelia looked at her carefully. "Then who is he?" Lois hesitated. "He loves me," she said finally. Amelia nodded. "Then why do you sound like you're defending him?" Lois looked away. "You don't understand," she said quietly. Amelia didn't respond. But she understood more than Lois realized. The truth slipped out by accident. One evening, Lois Taylor mentioned a name without thinking. "It was nothing," she said quickly. But Amelia Taylor caught it. "Who is Jasmine Dean?" she asked. Lois froze. "No one," she said too fast. Amelia leaned forward. "Then why does it sound like something?" Lois shook her head. "It's over. Victor Bullitt handled it." Amelia didn't like that word. "Handled how?" she asked. Lois stood up. "Drop it, Amelia." The conversation ended there. But Amelia wrote the name down. She knew it mattered. A few days later, Amelia Taylor discovered something worse. It came from her own parents. During a quiet conversation, her father mentioned the shop struggling. "We got help," he said. Amelia frowned. "From who?" Silence followed. Her mother avoided her eyes. "From the Bullitt family," her father admitted. Amelia went still. "How much?" 40,000, he said. The number hit hard. Now everything made sense. The silence. The forced smiles. They weren't just being polite. They were tied down. Amelia Taylor leaned back slowly. "So they control you," she said. "It's not like that," her mother replied quickly. "Then what is it?" Amelia asked. No one answered. Her father looked tired. "We needed help," he said. Amelia nodded once. That was enough. She understood everything now. This wasn't just about Lois Taylor anymore. It was about pressure, control, and silence. And Amelia didn't ignore problems. She fixed them. "All right," she said quietly. "Now I see it clearly." And once she saw clearly, she never looked away. 11 days before the wedding, the prenup arrived. A courier delivered it directly to Lois Taylor. "It's just a formality," Victor Bullitt said casually. "Everyone signs one." Lois looked unsure. "Should I get a lawyer?" she asked. Victor smiled lightly. "There's no need. It's standard." When Amelia Taylor heard about it, she didn't wait. "Bring it to me," she said. That night, she sat at her table, red pen in hand, reading every line. By the second page, her expression had already changed. This wasn't standard. This was something else entirely. Amelia Taylor read slowly, marking every clause. "No assets, no support, full silence," she murmured. The terms were harsh, but that wasn't the worst part. It was the pressure. "Sign before the wedding," she read aloud. "No time for review." She leaned back. "That's not a contract. That's a trap." The timing alone made it clear. This wasn't about protection. It was about control. And then she reached one line that made her stop completely. A reference to a prior settlement. Her pen froze. "What is this?" she whispered. The clause was small, almost hidden. But Amelia Taylor knew better. "Previous confidential settlement," she read again. That wasn't normal. She went back through the document carefully. The language wasn't general. It was specific. Too specific. It linked the prenup to something that had already happened. Something serious enough to be buried. "This isn't about marriage," she said quietly. "This is about silence." The realization settled heavily. They weren't asking Lois Taylor to join a family. They were asking her to protect something. The next morning, Amelia Taylor drove straight to see Lois Taylor. "You need to read this," she said firmly. Lois looked nervous. "Victor explained it already," she replied. "Then explain it to me," Amelia said. Lois hesitated. "It's just an old situation. Someone tried to accuse him of something." Amelia's eyes sharpened. "Who?" Lois looked toward the hallway before answering softly. "Jasmine Dean." Amelia felt the connection instantly. The name she had written before. This was it. Amelia Taylor drove back in silence, her mind racing. Now she had three things: a name, a hidden settlement, and a rushed prenup. That wasn't coincidence. That was a pattern. "They're covering something," she said to herself. And now she knew where to look. This wasn't about guessing anymore. It was about proof. She opened her notebook and wrote everything down carefully. "Find the case," she whispered. Because once she found that, everything else would follow. And Amelia never stopped halfway. The next day, Amelia Taylor sat in a courthouse records room, searching through case files. "Come on," she muttered, typing carefully. She narrowed the search using the name Victor Bullitt and a rough time frame. At first, there were too many results. Old disputes, business filings, nothing useful. But Amelia stayed patient. She adjusted the dates again, focusing on the year Lois Taylor had mentioned. The list shrank. Then one entry appeared that made her stop. A civil case. Filed quietly. Closed quickly. Sealed. Amelia leaned closer to the screen. "There you are," she whispered. The case was listed under a different format. The plaintiff wasn't named. It said, Jane Doe. But the defendant was clear, Victor Bullitt. Amelia's eyes moved quickly. Filed, then settled, then sealed. "Of course," she said quietly. That explained the clean record. The details were hidden, but the case itself still existed. And that was enough. "You can hide the story," she murmured, "but you can't erase that it happened." Her heart beat faster. This wasn't rumor anymore. This was real. Amelia Taylor printed the docket page slowly, watching the paper slide out. Her hand stayed steady, but her mind was sharp. "Protective order granted," she read under her breath. That line mattered. A judge had seen something serious enough to act. "This isn't nothing," she said. It wasn't proof of guilt, but it wasn't harmless either. She circled the case number with her red pen. That number was everything now. It connected the prenup to the past. And it proved one thing clearly. Victor Bullitt wasn't who he claimed to be. That night, Lois Taylor finally told the truth. Sitting on Amelia Taylor's couch, she broke down. "It wasn't just one thing," she said, crying softly. "It was everything." Amelia stayed calm. "Tell me," she said gently. Lois wiped her tears. "He checks my phone. He tells me what to wear. He decides everything." Amelia listened carefully. "Has he hurt you?" she asked quietly. Lois hesitated. "Not like that," she said. "But I was scared." That was enough. Amelia nodded slowly. Fear always meant something was wrong. "The name," Amelia Taylor said softly. "Jasmine Dean. Tell me everything." Lois took a deep breath. "Victor said she lied about him," she said. "That she tried to ruin his life." Amelia didn't react. "And you believed him?" she asked. Lois looked down. "I wanted to." Amelia understood that. Wanting something to be true didn't make it real. She stood up slowly. "We're not guessing anymore," she said. "We're proving it." And for the first time, Lois Taylor nodded without arguing. The fear in her eyes was still there, but now, so was something else. Trust. The next step was the hardest. Amelia Taylor needed to find Jasmine Dean. She didn't rush it. "Do it right," she told herself. She used only public records, nothing illegal, nothing hidden. It took time, but eventually she found a lead. A new name. A new location. Jasmine had moved on, built a new life. Amelia sat with that information for a long moment. "Don't break what she rebuilt," she whispered. Then she wrote a simple message. Honest. Careful. No pressure. Just the truth. And she sent it. Days passed with no reply. Amelia Taylor didn't push. "She doesn't owe us anything," she told Lois Taylor. Lois nodded quietly. But the waiting was heavy. Then one evening, Amelia's phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. "Hello." A pause. Then a calm voice. "This is Jasmine Dean." Amelia sat up straight. "Thank you for calling," she said softly. Jasmine exhaled slowly. "I almost didn't," she admitted. "I buried that part of my life." Amelia understood. "I'm not asking for your story," she said. "I just need the truth to stand." Jasmine Dean was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke. "My agreement says I can't talk about what happened," she said carefully. Amelia Taylor nodded, even though she couldn't see her. "I understand," she replied. "But it doesn't say I can't stand beside someone else," Jasmine continued. Amelia's breath caught slightly. "What do you mean?" she asked. "I can confirm it was real," Jasmine said. "Without breaking anything." Amelia closed her eyes briefly. That was enough. More than enough. "That changes everything," she said. The plan came together quickly after that. Amelia Taylor sat with Lois Taylor, laying everything out. "This is your choice," she said clearly. "We can walk away quietly, or we can face them publicly." Lois looked at her for a long moment. "He said no one would believe me," she said softly. Amelia didn't interrupt. Lois took a deep breath. I'm done being quiet. Amelia nodded once. Then we do this the right way, she said. No tricks. No shouting. Just truth. And proof. The opportunity came sooner than expected. Margaret Bullitt was hosting a large public event. A charity gala, Lois Taylor said, holding the invitation. Amelia studied it. Perfect, she replied. Margaret had built the stage herself. A room full of people. Witnesses. Attention. She thinks you'll stay silent, Amelia said. Lois shook her head slowly. Not this time. Amelia closed the folder in front of her. Everything was ready. Good, she said. Because this ends there. The night of the gala arrived, bright and controlled, just like Margaret Bullitt liked it. The hall was filled with wealthy guests, soft music, and careful smiles. Amelia Taylor walked in beside Lois Taylor, both calm and steady. Are you ready? Amelia asked quietly. Lois nodded. I'm not afraid anymore, she said. Across the room, Victor Bullitt noticed them. His expression shifted instantly. He hadn't expected them to come. And he definitely hadn't expected them to come together. When Margaret Bullitt saw them, she smiled confidently and stepped forward. I'm glad you came, she said sweetly to Lois Taylor. There's still time to make things right. Lois held her gaze. I'm not here to apologize, she said calmly. The smile on Margaret's face tightened slightly. Then why are you here? She asked. Before Lois could answer, Amelia Taylor stepped forward. To tell the truth, she said. The room hadn't noticed yet, but it was about to. A few minutes later, Margaret Bullitt took the stage. Family and reputation matter, she began, her voice smooth. She spoke about loyalty, trust, and appearances. Then she turned slightly toward Lois Taylor. Sometimes people forget their place, she added carefully. That was the moment. Lois Taylor stepped forward. Or sometimes people hide the truth, she said clearly. The room went quiet. Conversations stopped. Eyes turned. The script had just changed. Amelia Taylor walked up beside her sister, holding a simple folder. Before anyone decides what to believe, she said calmly, you should know what's already on record. She placed the papers on the table under the light. This is a public court document, she continued. A case involving Victor Bullitt. Murmurs spread across the room. Victor Bullitt's face tightened. That's private, he said quickly. No, Amelia replied. It was sealed, not erased. Then Jasmine Dean stepped forward. The room didn't recognize her, but Victor Bullitt did. He went pale instantly. Jasmine stood beside Lois Taylor, calm and steady. My name is Jasmine Dean, she said clearly. I am the person from that case. Silence fell across the room. I'm not here to tell details, she continued, but I can confirm one thing. It was real. That was enough. The truth didn't need more. And in that moment, everything Margaret Bullitt had built began to crack. The room shifted instantly. Guests whispered, some stepping back, others pulling out their phones. Victor Bullitt stood frozen, his confidence gone. This is a lie, he said, but his voice lacked strength. Amelia Taylor didn't raise her voice. A judge granted a protective order, she said calmly. That's public record. The words settled heavily. People understood what that meant. Across the room, Margaret Bullitt lost control. You're trying to destroy us, she snapped. But no one moved to defend her. The silence around her was louder than anything she could say. Victor Bullitt took a step back, then another. This isn't over, he muttered, but no one was listening anymore. The image was broken. The perfect story was gone. Jasmine Dean stood quietly beside Lois Taylor, steady and unshaken. That alone told the truth louder than any accusation. Guests began leaving slowly, conversations low and uncertain. Reputation didn't collapse in one moment. It cracked, then spread. And tonight, the first crack had been seen by everyone. In the middle of the room, Margaret Bullitt stood alone, her control slipping. "You've made a mistake," she said sharply. But her voice no longer carried power. Amelia Taylor closed her folder calmly. "No," she replied. "You just never expected anyone to read everything. That was the difference. Not anger. Not noise. Just truth, placed carefully where everyone could see it. And once seen, it couldn't be unseen." Near the back of the room, something unexpected happened. Amelia Taylor's father stood up. His voice was quiet, but clear. "That's my daughter," he said, looking at Lois Taylor. "And I should have spoken sooner." His words didn't shake the room, but they mattered. Lois Taylor looked at him, surprised, then nodded slowly. For the first time, the silence that had held them down was gone. And nothing replaced it. Just honesty. Outside, the night felt warmer. Lois Taylor took a deep breath, standing beside Amelia Taylor and Jasmine Dean. "It's over," she said softly. Amelia shook her head slightly. "No," she replied. "It's just the truth now. And that was better. No more fear. No more silence. Just facts, standing in the open." Lois Taylor smiled faintly, stronger than before. "Thank you," she said. Amelia nodded. "Next time," she said gently, "we read everything first." And this time, Lois understood exactly what that meant. If you know anyone who needs to hear this message, share it with her. Thanks for being here. Leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.